So, good morning, everyone. This is Maria Lessie with another Up Spiral Grief interview. And today I'm super excited to have one of our very own members in this group, and she agreed to an interview with me. And that is Shelyna Stefansson. Shelyna, I'm so pumped to have you here. I'm really, really stoked that you agreed to share your story with me and with everybody else watching here today. The reason why I wanted to bring you on is because I've watched you grow and open your heart, not just to your own healing journey, but also to others in this group. You've really stepped up in this group in holding space for everybody else. And I absolutely love it. I can't wait to ask you a few questions about that. If you don't mind, I would love to start with, give us a bit of a background about you. How did you actually come into this group? Maybe share a little bit about your significant losses, if you are okay with that.
Welcome, Absolutely. Shelyna. Thank you, Marie. It's so good to be here today. Well, my loss journey started June of 2019. A very dear person to me died by suicide. He was a big part of our lives. He was dating my daughter, my oldest child, and had been for about 5 years. And he had even lived with us in our home for a year. So he was very close with our family. I have a family of 6. Yeah. And so losing him was it was really, really hard. Our family, got hit quite severely over the loss of him. And we were, picking ourselves up, trying to, move on and move forward, or, I don't like the word move on,
yeah,
but we were trying to move forward.
Yeah.
And quite out of the blue, my mother-in-law, she passed away. She was elderly. We knew that, this was going to happen, but it hit our family. Like, we didn't have enough time to get over the first loss, and all of a sudden we had another one. And it was right before the Canadian Thanksgiving. Yes, I'm from Canada.
Yeah.
And so we went into the long weekend, and it was a heavy weekend. We were making plans to go out west where the rest of the family was, and we were, the flights were being booked, and I was just trying to support my husband as best that I could. I mean, he was the baby of 5 children, so him and his mommy were very close. And he decided to go to work on the Tuesday morning just so he could escape everything for a while, ignore what was going on, throw himself into his job.
Yeah.
I disagreed, but everybody has to do this their own way.
Yeah.
And by lunchtime, he called me and he said, "Honey, meet me at the hospital." And I said, "Okay." And he kind of sounded panicked on the phone. So I got to the hospital, and lo and behold, my husband was in the middle of a heart attack.
Wow.
So his pain that he'd been experiencing all weekend from his mom's loss was actually more. It had manifested into a full-blown heart attack. And our medical team was amazing. They worked so hard. I had 3 beautiful hours with him. I mean, absolutely beautiful. I can't even begin to tell you. He was so true to himself. He was sarcastic. He was loving. He was just absolutely 100% him. And I loved every minute of those 3 hours, not knowing that that was it. At the end of 3 hours, my husband passed away. And that was the 3rd loss. And for me, the biggest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was my everything. He was my whole world. He was everything. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to.
I can only imagine. Like, I feel like, having watched you on your journey and you sharing so authentically, I actually feel like I've come to know Bruce over the last few months. And, when you mentioned he was true to himself and he was sarcastic and everything, that was one of the things I really loved about you, like all these stories about Bruce and his humor. And I feel like I've learned so much about your relationship. And from what I can see from everything that you shared and even your Facebook profile, everything, like, there is just so much love and authenticity. It is really quite mind-blowing, and I really love that about you guys. So
yeah, we were the couple that made everybody go, ooh, because we truly enjoyed each other. We liked being in each other's company. When we weren't at work, we were together, and we loved, really, really, truly loved each other. And days didn't go by that we didn't say, I love you. It was a wonderful relationship. And I became instantly lost. I didn't know how to do this without him.
I find it so beautiful, because I'm not sure how much you do or don't want to share about this, but all I'm going to say is I know that Bruce had a significant impact on your life in opening your heart to life and to love, and that alone is just so beautiful. And I'd love to hear from you, like, what, you know, from somebody like you who's like so infused with that love with her man, and then having these 3 quite significant losses stack up in such a short amount of time, in particular between his mum and him. They were 3 days, you said?
4 days. Yes, 4 days.
It's just unbelievable. I can't even imagine. So you didn't even have time to prepare for one funeral, and your husband passes. It's just really incredible. I have no words. It's really, my heart goes out to you. And I'd love to know, obviously, because a lot of people are in here in this group, and a lot of them are new as well. And, you know, only this morning I got this message from a beautiful lady who joined the group, and it's like, so what do I do now? So I'd love to hear from you, somebody who's been through this journey. Like, how did you even hear about this group? How did you come into the movement?
Well, moving backwards a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I was, before Bruce came into my life, I had already been married once, divorced. I had 2 kids, and I was one of those people that was all business. I really just, I got everything done. I was very capable, competent, and I literally had brick walls built around me every which direction. As you had mentioned, I've had some trauma in my past. Yes, they were perfectly laid. And he came into my life and literally just knocked down every darn brick that there was. And I became somebody I didn't know was even within me. I honestly didn't recognize myself. I learned to cry, and that was different for me. And I just, there was trust, there was respect, and there was just so many pieces that he put into my life and taught me about how to be real, how to be true, all of those things. And then on the day that he died, I honestly believe he took all of that love that he kept showering into me and all of the other people around us, and he poured it into me that day. I don't even know how to explain it any better than that, but I came out of that, and all I could feel was love. My whole body, just every part of me felt like love was the only feeling I had. Yes, I'd lost my husband, but it was all just wrapped in love. I felt like I was being hugged nonstop. And that love just kept going. I don't know if I'm explaining this right to anybody.
Oh,
people
absolutely.
often have
I can
anger.
so relate. It's so beautiful.
Well, I mean, everybody has different ways of what happens when they first, go through something. But for me, it was this massive, massive, powerful feeling of love. And it's the only way I can think to describe it. And each day I just kept going, and all the people were coming in. And I mean, I knew that I was well known in this town, but I didn't know I was well loved. And the community members, the family, the friends, everybody just poured into my life. And there was so much support. And the more love that I was being given, the more love that my body kept taking. And it was beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And I know grief shouldn't be beautiful, but honestly, that piece, all of that, it was beautiful to me. I just...
Says who? Grief shouldn't be beautiful. Like, seriously, it is just something that I really have to ask, because so many people. Sorry, I'm just looking. I'm looking at my phone while we're doing this to see if there's any common. So Chris is live with us. Thank you for sharing your story. Thanks so much for being here, Chris. Let me just turn it down
Hi,
so I
Chris.
can read the questions. And Heather is watching as well, as a couple of others on. So this is the exact reason why I founded Loving Life After Loss, because there are so many shoulds and you should and you shouldn't and expectations from society that I feel are just simply wrong, you know. And I'm also not saying grief shouldn't be sad. I'm saying grief should be what you need it to be. You know, it should be your way of processing the loss and of grieving the person that you've lost in a way that is healthy and helpful to you. It should be a path of being able to say goodbye or see you later, whatever your beliefs are, in your personal way. And I feel love and joy and happiness are such a huge part of it, because that is who my husband was, and I surely know that is who your husband was. And we joked about it. They're probably sitting up there dangling their feet and looking down on us, going like, "Oh, look at those chicks," you know, having a good laugh about us. But it is just what we make it to be, and you know, the grief shouldn't be beautiful. I don't agree with that. I really think it should be exactly that, you know, for us. And I think it's so beautiful what you shared. I had a very similar experience, you know, when he left. It was like as if he was pouring all his love into me, and I took it and I'm spreading it. And the more I spread it, the more comes back. It's just really such a, yeah, you create such a vacuum. Somebody said that to me, you know, the more you expand, the more you create a vacuum of these things coming back into you. And I never saw it like that. And I thought it was really, really beautiful explanation. So yeah.
No, it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong, I cried and cried and cried. I mean, sometimes the love was, I mean, it was always there, but so were the tears, and you know, the lost feeling, definitely lost. I'm sure everybody's understands the feeling of being lost. But yeah, so it was about I would say about 2 months in, when a very good dear friend of mine sent me by private Facebook message a link to your page, your movement. And she said, "I don't know if this will help you." She said, "But when I lost my mom and my dad, it's been good for me." She says, "It's done a lot for me, and check it out." She says, "You know, maybe." And
give her a shout out. Who was it?
Her name is Janice.
Thank you so much for sending Shelyna. Thank you.
So most of the time, a lot of these things that people had sent my way or forwarded to me, oftentimes I didn't open them. I didn't open the videos that they wanted me to watch, and I didn't read the long poems. I did later, but at those moments, I oftentimes wasn't ready to see them, receive them, read them, get into them. But for some reason, as soon as I saw the title of that, again, it spoke to that big, massive feeling of love that has been just festering and growing. And I clicked immediately. Like, I don't even think I said thank you to her yet. I just clicked the link. And I went in there and I asked for approval to join. And it kind of went from there. I don't think it was very long afterwards that you approved me. Ironically, being on different time zones, it must have been when you were awake.
I'm awake most of these days, so most of the hours of the day, I should say.
But I would literally get up in the morning, and the first thing that I would do is I would go into the group and I'd see who'd posted what, or what videos you'd shared, what lives you had done, and I would just sit there, and it was my morning coffee and Loving Life After Loss.
Wow, I love that. I never knew that. Thank you so much. I'd love to know, Shelyna, also, like, you know, now that I have the opportunity to ask somebody who's been through this journey from their point of view, what was your very first impression when you came into the group?
Oh, gee, do I remember? It was only 2 months afterwards. Everything's a blur sometimes.
Fair enough. That's okay.
Honestly, I remember feeling I needed it. I do know that. Like, I'd said I would have my coffee and it would be the first thing I'd do in a day, and I'd be reading through comments and watching the lives. And I really needed all of the powerful, loving, calm. I think calm is a big word I'd like to use. It felt calm. It felt peaceful, and I mean, you use the words sending hugs, sending love, holding space, and all those things just felt like things I needed in my world, in my space. And I grabbed onto it, and you became a little bit of my lifeline for a while. I'm not okay. You've been my lifeline ever since.
I think you're doing pretty well on your own at the moment, but yeah, thank you. It's so beautiful to have watched you, because I remember when I first, it was obviously through one of the programs that I'm running, and we will talk about that as well to get a bit of an insider information. But when I first became aware of you, the first thing I thought was I was quite blown away how early into your grieving journey, not just that you came into the group, but you literally went and did one of my programs, and that was really so beautiful to watch you, because everything from my perspective, I'm giving you my input now, how I felt about you going through this. It was so raw and so authentic, and I could feel that you so wanted to open your heart and heal this. And it was literally like Bruce was holding space for you. I could feel your husband around in everything you said and did, and that was just so beautiful to watch, you know, because I've got a very, very similar background to you. Like the relationship that Rob and I had, we were always that couple, and everybody's like, oh, please, you know, you guys. And I love that. I love that. And seeing that in you, I could so relate to where you were coming from. And being able to facilitate that for you really humbled me. And watching you go through that, I was absolutely blown away and in awe how structured is the wrong word, but how you just went for it. You know, you had no idea what the next step would be, but you knew that you had to go the next step, and you went on and opened your heart, and you were riding those waves. So I'd love to hear your feedback. How did you come to choose to do one of those first programs that I put out there, and what was your path through that, if you don't mind sharing?
I remember seeing one of your posts about the 14-day journey. I think it's 14-day journey, and thinking, I wonder what that's all about. And I was a little bit curious, you know. And I remember receiving an email, because you know you sign up for your thing with an email, and I got an email on it, and one of the emails, it felt personal. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but I felt like it was like literally saying, okay, you need to do this, or, you know, give this a try. Yeah. You'll really appreciate. I don't remember what any of the words were. I just felt like the email was speaking straight to my heart once again. And so I started looking through, you know, I clicked on the link, and I was looking through it all and reading everything that was in there. And then I got to the bottom, and I went, what have I got to lose? Because, you know, I didn't know what else to do. I just knew that I needed to figure out how to continue moving forward, and that he wasn't coming back. None of them were coming back. And that feeling the way I felt couldn't be my forever. I needed to feel something. I needed the joy. I needed happiness. I needed to be able to smile again and know that everything was broken, but not permanently broken, that it could be fixed, it could be put together. And so I signed up for that first one. It was early January, I believe. So I was only 3 months afterwards, not even quite 3 months, I don't think. And jumped right in. I had no idea what to expect. Honestly, I really didn't realize that it was going to be about looking within myself and looking at my own feelings, my discovering who I am and what's really important to me. And just, there were so many pieces that were so, none of it was about, and this is what I really like, is it wasn't about the fact that these people had died, that they were gone from my life. It was about the fact that, what now? What are you going to do about it? What's your next step? What's your plan? Where are you going to go? What are you doing here? And I just, all of those questions had kept going through my head, now what? And I think that's what kept pulling me in more and more is, okay, there's way more here and I got to figure it out. So I did. I jumped in 100%. I didn't hold back. And I have been fully authentic from the get-go. On my own Facebook page, my mother at one point told me she couldn't take it anymore and I had to stop the post that I was doing. And I said, you don't need to look at them, Mom. I said, really?
This is my journey. This is my way.
Yeah, you don't need to look at them. I said, you just scroll right on by. I said, but this is how I'm feeling. And I'm putting it out there. People want to know how I am. They can look at my Facebook. They're also welcome to give me a call. I said, I really don't care. But it just felt like it reached more people because there was so many community and family and friends that had come from every direction. And I just wanted everybody to know this is how I'm doing.
I really want to thank you for sharing this so openly, because one thing that you said at the very beginning of answering this question really stood out for me, and I want to highlight that. It is, I don't know the exact words now because I was so focused on everything else that you said, but it was something around that you knew that what you were feeling right now is not what you want to feel forever. So you knew that you wanted to move forward with this, and there is other things like joy and happiness to come back into your life. And and the other thing I just had to laugh at when you said just scroll on by, I thought it's such a Facebook way of saying stroll on by, like in real life, scroll on by. I love that. But it's so often people don't know what to expect when they come into these programs. And I kind of don't want to give too much away about the program either, because this is such a step-by-step journey that if I would tell people on day 1 what we're doing on day 9, some of them would probably shy away and go like, no, I'm not ready for that. Yet the point is that in that journey, I do prepare them for that, for every single step. And I'm there holding their hands literally every step of the way. And so there's actually, it's funny because you told about the 14-day journey to Who Am I After Loss. We had the 5-day Heart to Heart. They're both free journeys that I put out there for people to really get to know who I am and how I work and what they can expect. There's also a paid program. It's really for every level, for every affordability. There's something out there. And the 14-day journey, I kind of felt like it was quite a bit intense in terms of I've taken the feedback on board, because people were like, oh my God, it's like one day after the next for 14 days. And it's like quite full on, but really beautiful. It goes really deep. And then the 5-day journey, the Heart to Heart, was just too fast. You go through it, you come out and like, what next? So I've actually taken the feedback on board, and I don't even know if you know that yet, but I've created a new journey out of that. I've pretty much merged those two and have created a 9-day journey. Now I feel in my heart so strongly that it's just perfect. It's not too short, it's not too long, and I've merged the two, and I call it my drum roll. I'm saying it for the first time out loud. My 9 days to relief. I absolutely love it. So it's basically going to be what you've gone through with the 14 days to Who Am I After Loss, but in a shorter, more direct version. And so I'd love to know, when you came out of that, because you went pretty much straight into the next level and came onto the 8 weeks experience with me, where were you at between those two? Because you've done the 14 days, and as you said, it was quite unexpected. There were a lot of things that you didn't know what was to come. When you came out of that, how did you feel about what had just happened and what you were about to do? Can you give us a bit of a rundown how you made that?
Yeah. I know that I had learned a lot about myself and about just so many pieces. Honestly, I didn't know really what I was going to do next, but I was no longer scared. I wasn't scared about what was going to happen next. I knew that it was going to be okay, that whatever I chose to do was right for me, and that trusting my instincts was a good thing to do, that those instincts have always led me well, and they will continue to do so even in grief. And I wasn't scared anymore. I think is a big piece. I think I might have still felt a little bit lost in my home because it was so quiet and I didn't have my partner with me, and I still hadn't myself gotten through that part. But again, it was so early in too, right? He hadn't been gone very long yet. But no, I wasn't scared anymore. The fear.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. So tell us a little bit about the gifts that Bruce has passed on to you when he left.
Ironically, he gave me another one today.
Really? Of course.
Yeah. So
I'm here, go and share that in an interview.
I'm one of those really, really lucky people that has a husband who doesn't want me to forget about him. And I get a lot of gifts, a lot of signs. He is constantly letting me know that he's there and he's holding me and he's just behind every move that I make. And I really think it's hilarious. The dimes, I have this bowl of dimes. Dimes is apparently a symbol of, a loved one reaching out, and it doesn't matter what I do, I seem to find them constantly. And one day I'm doing all this construction with my dad, and we're in one specific spot and we're working all day. And then my dad says, okay, I got to go. And he packs up, and it's like 6 hours later. And I'm picking up the last of the tools, and there's a dime sitting right where we had been working. And I'm like, seriously? It was funny because the job that we were doing was something my husband had been nagging about for 2 years, that we really needed to do it. So it was like, yeah, okay, I did it, honey, it's done.
Well done. Yeah, I'll pay you. Have it done.
Yeah, but some of my favorites are my uncle passed away not too long ago, and I was at my auntie's and just holding her, keeping her safe, telling her that, we would get through this. And we relate to each other now, because now we really we're going through the same thing. I'm a little bit further along, so I feel like I can be a big help and support to her right now.
Sorry for my big smile. I'm not smiling at her loss. I'm smiling because I know what's to come. So I'm like, I love this.
So we're sitting there, and she starts mentioning this beautiful meat roast that I had cooked. And just so everybody knows, my husband did all the cooking. I did not cook at all. I hated cooking. It was his job, and he took very good care of making sure I had delicious food all the time. He was the master in the kitchen, and I missed his food. So I had taken it upon myself to try to learn to cook, teach myself a little bit, because I am not going to let my stomach, not get the food it deserves. And so she was mentioning this beautiful roast that I had made, and how next time I needed to share with her. And I kind of glanced towards the sky, and I said, yeah, don't tell Bruce this, but I think I cook better meat than him. And lo and behold, it's like he had a problem with that, because he took this pendant that is his ashes and his wedding band that was also hanging from my neck, and he dropped them both off of my neck. I'm sitting there, and he just dropped into my lap. The wedding band went flying onto the deck and through the boards and onto the ground below. And I just went, I guess you heard that, hey?
He's listening.
And it was just so funny. I don't think he appreciated, So that was one of my favorites.
At the perfect time. I love that. And that's actually what I was referring to when I said Bruce passed some of his gifts onto you. I was coming to the science as well, but the gifts, I meant actually the cooking. I can so relate to that, because I was called him my own personal little master chef. Like, he was just absolute master chef in the kitchen. And I did not cook much unless I had to. And same here, I had to learn it. And I have to say, I haven't taken to it with as much passion as you have. So I look up to you for inspiration. But I'm mastering just fine. But
I just can't believe I'm a cook.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I've watched you, like, sharing all these beautiful meals on Facebook, and I'm like drooling over my phone, going like, I need to learn this. Share the recipes. See, maybe we should add that to the group. Recipes, something for all those who lost the cook in their lives, and we can all share some recipes. New idea here. So before we go into a few more details about that, so what made you come into the 8 weeks experience, and how was that for you?
For me, it was almost a no-brainer. It was natural.
Mm,
I got out of the 14-day and I had received so much from it. Like it just,
mm,
I had learned so much and I had loved every minute of it. Yeah, it was hard work. I really did have
mm.
to dig deep into myself, and sometimes it was very confronting. And I mean this in a good way. I really do. I needed it. I
Mm,
needed to be pushed the way I was pushed in there,
yeah,
and I wanted more. I knew
yeah.
that I wasn't healed. I mean,
Mm,
there's, you don't just become healed after 14 days and,
yeah.
just a few months. And I just felt like there was obviously more that I needed to know and learn, because I
Mm,
wasn't done. It felt like it was too short. I needed more.
mm.
And I didn't hesitate to sign up for the next 8-week one. Like I
Yeah.
just had to. And I don't regret it. I signed up again anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just so
Shelyna
everybody
actually
knows I've
did
done it
a
twice.
repeat. Yeah, people who have been through the experience always get a very, very great opportunity to repeat that course if they wanted to. So, um, tell us about the experience. I'd love to hear it from your point of view, because somebody who's been through it, is obviously like a bit more insider information than me talking about what we do in this program. How was it for you going through these 8 weeks? Because obviously in the experience we go a lot deeper, but at a lot slower pace.
Yeah, the slower pace is really nice because
Mm,
it gives you more time to think about different things. And
yeah.
what I really like is you really get to know people, other people that have joined in there, and you
Mm,
hear their stories, and they have their own suggestions or ideas, or they do something and you think, that's neat. Or like you
yeah.
really, you become so much with so many people around you, and you build friendships, you build more
Yeah.
love and support. And
Some of them are
I like
watching right now.
yeah. Hi, everybody. And I really have enjoyed that piece right there. But yeah, just I learned more about me, and I felt I was no longer even concerned at all about what choices I made next.
Mm,
I knew that it would all be fine again. Like I don't know, it was good. Sometimes I almost felt like there was too many days between sessions because I was just so excited. you know,
oh, bless
from
you.
one week to the next, it's like, oh, it's not Monday yet.
Yeah. That's so beautiful that you say that, because it's like for me, those sessions, like those days that I run the experience, and that's usually a Monday morning for me, for my time zone. Or, in our last case, it was Monday night, because we had US, Canada, Australia, and UK, and that was just so tricky to get all time zones into one. You actually were the one who got up at 5:30 a.m. to make this happen. I was so impressed with you, seriously. And for me, it was 8:30 at night. So yeah. Um,
But right there, doesn't that say how dedicated I was? That I was
Exactly,
willing to get
exactly.
up
That's what I'm
that
saying.
early?
5:30 a.m. That's dedication right there. I'm absolutely impressed. So
I was never late.
yeah, exactly. I was always the one being like, well, I came in just at the perfect time. So for me, like having watched you go through this journey, and literally what stood out for me the most was how much you were guided in all of that. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I'm talking about your intuition, your guidance from your husband. It was so palpable. It was really so apparent that he was around you. I could really feel that. And watching you opening your heart to that and allowing that in wholeheartedly was so beautiful for me. And what happened then, I'm going to give that away, and then I'll let you share that from your perspective. But I really want to highlight that. What happened was I watched you step up as another leader in the group. And that was so beautiful. Like you probably didn't even realize it at the time, I think, but you started to post more and more and share really authentically from your heart. And that's what I feel is part of being a leader. that you are able to really open your heart and let people in and let people watch what's going on. And you shared stories about you and Bruce and your healing journey that really touched not just me, but a lot of people in the group. You were like this new magnet in the group that people came to and were drawn to. Your post had like, you know, so much, your post had so much interaction and people were just completely drawn to that. And I absolutely loved it. So what happened next, like parallel to your development in my own development with the movement, I came to a state where the movement has now grown to 2,500 people. It is way too big for me to be able to moderate that by myself and to be really there for everyone and to hold space for everyone in a capacity that everyone deserves. So I have asked a couple of torchbearers, I call it very respectfully and lovingly, like you, like Terry, like Kay, to step up and help me moderate the group, which is holding space, commenting on people, answering their questions, sending them love. It is really beautiful the way you have stepped up to do that. And in my own journey, in the background to you guys stepping up, I was a little bit more absent from the group because I was head down, bum up in course creation, content creation mode, because I have put out my newest program, which is Up Spiral Grief. And the Up Spiral Grief program is a 12-month mentoring program for people who either have a coaching background or have their own healing journey and have reached a point where they really want to step up and do what I do for other people. And yeah, so I kind of knew internally for a long time that you'll be part of this, but I never put it out there because I never wanted to pressure you. But what I call it, I call it my opening doors. I did open a door and go like, Shelyna, I'm doing this. And you were like, I'm up for this. And I just like, I knew it, but I didn't want to say it because obviously it's you who has to make that decision. It's you who has to make that step. I'm opening the doors and it's your decision whether you come in or not. So I'd love to hear how you went, because you came back to do the experience again. You came to do the refresher. And literally, like within one day, you finished that off and started the new mentoring program. So you've been on this journey, like wholeheartedly, all in, like with all your everything, with your whole authenticity. And I just absolutely love watching you step up on a daily basis. Like literally, you've had so much growth and so much love that you have received and spread. Give us your perspective on all of this, how this all happened for you.
Well, for me, there was so many pieces about, like over the course of my life, I've always been very intrigued about how the brain works and how people interact with each other, most specifically how people interact with each other. And it intrigues me. I watch, if somebody is very angry and all of a sudden, what you give back is not angry, it's very calm, and it's amazing how you can take an angry person and switch that. And I always thought that was pretty neat, and I test it on a regular basis because I think it's pretty cool. And so in all of this, I kept thinking about, I've had so much given to me in this time period since my husband particularly has passed, the others as well, but more so my husband. And I just felt like I needed to do something too. Everybody's been so good for me. And what can I do? What can I give back? What is next on my journey was always the question I kept asking since my husband died. And it just felt like a no-brainer. I need to do whatever I can to help other people that are going through this, because it's not an easy road to navigate, and it should be supported as much as possible. And the comments where people are like, oh, isn't she over it yet? Or, I mean, they're hard to hear and they shouldn't be said, but it's people that don't understand. It's people that don't get it, have never experienced that heavy loss. And so I want to be somebody that, can say, you can be wherever you need to be. And how can I support you? How can I hold you safe, as Marie would say? And that's what's important to me. So when you open the door, I just keep saying yes, because I really, truly believe in what you're doing. I believe in this movement, the authenticity of it all. And it has been an amazing journey for me. And I keep wanting more. I really,
Yeah.
truly just want more. I think that grief shouldn't be doom and gloom, and we should be celebrating the person that was here and how much we love them. We shouldn't be, lying under a bed curled in a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. We all have our moments. I'm not going to deny I haven't been on my kitchen floor at different times, but picking myself back up is what's important, and knowing that my life isn't done and that there is so much that I can give. I just want to give it.
Yeah. And Millie fully agrees.
She does. She's upstairs barking. That's my puppy. She's being very good.
I love how in so many sessions we have like Lilu, my puppy, come in, and Millie, your puppy, come in, and it's like all these animals. And Heather, when she was in our session, had her cat on the table, and humans and furry babies always welcome. So, would you like to share a couple of more signs from Bruce that you got? I love all your stories. It's just so beautiful. Like I love the one in particular when he dropped your chain because you told him that your cooking was better. I found that hilarious, to be honest.
Well, the most recent one would probably be when I agreed to jump on board with you and found out that the amount that it will cost me is my husband's PIN number. I just thought that was hilarious that it's the PIN number.
That is really hilarious because I thought, this number has got some very different meaning for a lot of people, but that's just what it mounted up to when you do it on a monthly plan. And I'm like, I'm just going to go with it. That's the number. And you're like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, it's just so weird how things like that often happen. And it's just so beautiful when those signs are so clear to us. And
here she comes.
Now for me, oh, hello, Millie. Guest appearance, Millie. Millie Stefansson. So it is really funny because like I've shared that often in the group and on my journey that my numbers were always 1 to 6 or 12 and 6 because Rob passed on the 12th of June. So it was either 1 to 6 or 12 and 6, number 12. It would pop up all the time. And only last night I was on the phone to a friend of mine and he said something. And weirdly enough, we were talking about, he wants to introduce me to some ladies who work in a mortuary and they might make a guest appearance in one of the interviews here. But it was a really beautiful story about their business and how they came to do this job with so much love and respect and dignity. So I'm listening to his story and I'm telling him about my experience, how we experienced going to the mortuary and having to identify Rob's body. And I was there with my 2 young sons. They were only 10 and 8 at the time. So it was just the 3 of us. And I'm talking about this really actually quite beautiful experience, very touching, very hard, but beautiful experience. And I turn around and look at a microwave and it says 612. I'm like, of course it does, it's just, what are the chances that I'm talking about this at that very time and that I'll turn around and see that very time? But of course it happens all the time. It's just, there's hardly a week where that doesn't happen. And it just happens through numbers for me all the time. So,
yeah. I get the numbers. For me, it's 9/11, which is my husband's birthday. I see that on the clock every day, all the time. And I think it's hilarious that 9/11 pops up constantly.
Wow. That is really beautiful. So what I would like to share here with our viewers, everybody watching this, there are a couple of different things. First of all, I know that whatever questions you may have, please post them in the comments because I know a lot of people watch the replays of these videos. We always get a couple of 100 views on our interviews, and especially with Shelyna, I'm quite certain that there will be quite a few people who want to watch this. If you have any questions about Shelyna's journey or mine or the programs, please do not hesitate to post in the comments and we'll definitely get back to you. I also want to announce when we will be doing the next, in that case, the very first 9 days to relief. So that's our next free program that I'm running, and that will be on the 11th of August starting point. So for all the people from the US and Canada, it will be the 10th of August night time, and for Australia, it will be the 11th of August in the morning. You don't have to be live at a certain time because you can always watch the replay. There are videos to be watched in the membership area that don't require a certain time frame. So if you work full time, there's really no excuse. I make this as easy and as accessible as possible for as many people as possible. Shelyna, Terry, a few other people in this group who are the regulars always said everybody should do this. Really, everybody. And I even made it free. So there's really, really no excuse for you not to do this if you are in a situation in your life right now where you feel, what next? I have no idea what to do, how to do this, how to even get out of bed in the morning. You can even watch that from your own bed. And I can promise you, you will find so much love and support in there. You will find so many answers or just the right questions for you to ask yourself. I'd really love for you to come on board. I will share a link in the comments below after this interview because it's a priority sign up list. So basically all you do is you click on the link and you put your name and email in there. So as soon as I've got the exact starting time and details, I've got the date already booked in, but as soon as we've got the exact time and details, you will receive an email to sign up for this journey. And as I said, the sign up is free. So put your name on the list. You'll get the invite when we get started. And for those of you who want to hear more about the Up Spiral Grief program, the mentoring program that we've mentioned, I want to make this very clear. I'm only taking people in there who really feel they have done enough healing to hold space for others. So this is with no disrespect for where you're at in your journey, but I want to make this very clear that you really need to feel ready to give back. And that takes really a lot to stand there and say, yep, bring it on. I'll do that with you now, Maria. I'll do that for other people as well. And Shelyna, you have done that with so much grace and not putting you on the spot or anything, but Shelyna might even be in that 9-day to relief journey and be helping me moderate that group. So I'm, putting it out there. Maybe that will
I'm
happen,
in.
maybe not.
You know me. I'm in.
So Terry is saying, yes, everybody should do this. We're all here to support you. Oh, thank you so much, Terry. Terry's been another one of those really, really beautiful torchbearers. She's also one of our moderators here in the group. And most likely, not putting you in the spot, Terry, she'll be in one of those interviews anytime as well when you're ready. And yeah, she is also absolutely amazing in holding space. So Shelyna, is there anything to wrap this beautiful interview up with you? I'm so grateful for what you've shared and for what you continue to share in this group as well. I love your authenticity. I can't believe how sometimes I really feel like we're like parallel souls. There's so many similarities of, you're sitting there in Canada, I'm sitting here in Australia, but our stories are so similar on many levels. And I just love that our paths have crossed. I feel very, very blessed to have you in my life, have you in my group, have you in my programs to share authenticity and love and hold space with me. I am very grateful for you. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to share with the viewers as your final wrap-up words for today?
Wow, now I feel put on the spot. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly believe if you try, the free program that is this 9-day, 9 day?
9 days to relief.
9 days to relief. Thank you. I'll have to remember that. If you try it and it's free and you don't like it, you leave. I mean, it's as simple as that. I honestly believe you can't know unless you try it. And
yeah,
why not? What's it going to hurt, right? That's my own personal opinion. It's been wonderful for me. I'm glad that I did it. And
yeah,
I just can't wait to help everybody on these journeys. I want to be there for everybody and send you all the love that I know that is pouring out of me every which direction, because there's a lot of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Terry, we're so proud of you too. She said, I'm so proud of you both. Well, thank you so much for sharing what you have. And I know that you'll continue to share your journey with all of us in Loving Life After Loss. I just absolutely loved watching you so far. Like, you have grown, and I'm just absolutely blown away by what you have done and how you've literally opened your heart to this journey and to everybody else in this group. So you held a lot of space with me. I'm so grateful for that. And I want to thank you so much for sharing today and for coming on this interview with me.
Thank you for inviting me. I really think everybody benefits from this.
Oh, thank you. Everyone have a beautiful day. Any questions, comments, please feel free to share, and we'll see you all in the group. Thank you. Bye for now.